Hey nerds, what's up? This video is going to be all about the books that I read in the month of August 2018, so let's get right on into it. I actually read quite a few books this month due to the help of Bibliobook and also just like being in a really good reading mood. I had a great month this month. So I want to start off with my stats as per usual. So I had 12 books on my TBR if I conjoin just my normal month TBR and my Bibliobook TBR, and of those 12 books I read 9 of them. In total though, I did read 12 books, they just switched around a little bit. I gave 4 5 stars, 4 4 stars, 2 3 stars, 1 2 star, and I also DNF'd 2 books this month. Of all of those books, I read 1 graphic novel, DNF'd 1 graphic novel, I read 1 ebook, I read 3 audiobooks, and then I DNF'd 1 audiobook, and I read 8 physical books. I also read 4.5 adult novels, and I read 8.5 physical books, and those halves are the DNFs there. So, getting into what I read this month, let's start with my DNFs and just go up and up from there. So, first of all, during the Bibliobook-a-thon, I started reading Deathnote Volume 1, and I got about 50 pages in, which was about the end of chapter 1, and it wasn't for me. I think the problem for me is, one, this is a manga. I've never read a manga before. I've never read an English translated from Japanese book before. There's a few things there that I think, one, I just wasn't used to, and two, the story itself I think was a little bit not up my alley enough for me to be able to get through the other things that were so jarring. I noticed a lot of repeating of the same thing over and over again, and I think that that stands to some of the translation. I don't think that that's an issue. I think it was annoying to me, and I thought that it was gonna be, I don't know what I thought it was gonna be, but it wasn't what it was. So I'm actually going to be giving away all 3 of my Black Edition Death Note copies, not away on the channel, unfortunately. I just don't have the funds for that, but I'm going to be giving these either to a local used bookstore or to my library. I haven't decided yet, so yeah, going away. And the other book that I DNF'd was A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. I was listening to this on audiobook, and I found that because I've now watched the show that was this book's adaptation, it wasn't intriguing enough to finish this 48-hour audiobook. I wasn't interested enough because I knew everything that was gonna happen. Like, every scene that I was listening to, I had seen on camera, and the audiobook also is done by this very manly man, and every time he was in Danny's perspective, the Dragon Queen, every time we were in her perspective, his voice for her was so nasally and annoying, and it drove me insane because the actor who plays her is just so like strength and, you know, present, and his version of her voice was so grating to my nerves. So that was part of it. The other part of it was just that I know the story, so why am I wasting my time reading this at this point? So that was unfortunate, but I decided to DNF it. Not because I don't like the story, but just because I already knew it. And so I didn't find myself enjoying reading it this time around. But I've read all the other ones and I liked those, so I think that if I hadn't have watched it already, and if the adaptation wasn't so well done, then I think I would have liked reading this more. Moving on to my next book for 2 stars. My only 2-star book this month was the Bibliobook Club book of the quarter, which was Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. And Kaz, thank you for sending me this. I am so grateful to you. Thank you so much. But I didn't end up loving this book. I thought it was good. It was definitely a fast read. It was sometimes enjoyable. I found some of the comedy in it great. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be, I think, which is unfortunate for my own brain. And it was really just very personal reason for not liking it. So this book is about a girl named Mila who's a Wiccan, and she starts out the story with these 2 girls who used to bully her died a few weeks ago, and then now she's at the funeral for her best friend who passed away another week ago. And it was ruled a suicide or an accidental death, but she just knows that her best friend was murdered. She wouldn't have committed suicide. There's no way. And so she, as a Wiccan, decides to bring back her best friend to help solve the murder, but then in doing so she accidentally brings back the other 2 girls who died who were bullying her in the past. So that's where you get the Mean Girls meets The Craft, which is what this was marketed as. And it's a very accurate marketing, I think, because it has the quirk and weird of Mean Girls, but then it has the magic of The Craft. I've never actually seen The Craft, so it reminded me a lot of like Charmed too, or like, I don't know, like Practical Magic. Like, it reminded me a lot of Practical Magic, but just like, it also, my issue with it was that this girl does this scary spell and brings back the dead, and the people who are knowledgeable in the craft are telling her you shouldn't be doing that because fucking with death is dangerous, and then there were no real consequences for doing it. So that was really where my main issue lied. I also didn't find the characters very likable. The most likable character was one of the bullies. So that was weird, and yeah. I'm gonna stop talking about this now. Moving on to 3 stars, one of the books that I actually just recently finished and gave a 3-star was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and I listened to this on audiobook along with Allie from Little Librarian. We read it at similar times, and then we watched the movie via the internet together, and I just love internet friends. It's amazing. It's amazing like what the internet has done to give us more friendships. I just love it. But I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. About a girl who has had crushes in her life, and when she decides that she is no longer in love with her crush, which is never ever told to the crush or anything, she writes them a love letter to say goodbye and then puts them in the hat box, and one day her letters get sent out to the 5 boys that she's loved in the past, one of which is her big sister's boyfriend, and one of which is the most popular boy in school, and these are our main characters. And so in order to make sure that the boyfriend doesn't think she has a crush on him anymore, she fake dates the other crush. And I loved the fake dating trope. It was amazing, so well done. Peter, which is the fake boyfriend, and Laura Jean, who's the main character, their chemistry and like comedy together was great. I loved that a lot. I found Laura Jean a little bit young. The way that she calls Josh Joshy, which is the boyfriend of her sister, and the way that she still calls her dad daddy, like, there were just some things that I was like, you're a junior in high school. Is this... I'm sure there are people out there like her, so I'm not saying they aren't. She just read really young for me, which I think is mostly the issue of me being too old for this book. But then I also really didn't like, I was enjoying it, and it was almost a 4-star book. I was really having a fun time reading this book, and then we got to the main issue, which I don't want to talk about because it's spoilery. But we got to the main thing that was the problem, and the way that it's handled. Now, we have our villain who does the thing, who says mean things, and the way she spoke about it was, you know, it's the villain, so who cares? But then there is reactions done by other people, like the fake boyfriend and the big sister and the dad, who all could have done it better, and I didn't feel like they... I didn't like how they reacted to Laura Jean's issue that happens in the book, which I don't want to get into again because I didn't like it. I actually am considering doing a full book talk on this versus the movie, because now I've watched them both and the movie did it a lot better in my opinion. I think the changes they made in regards to the main climactic issue and then its further resolution, I think it was done so much better than the book was. And I don't know if that's because the book was written a while ago or what, but I didn't like how it was done, and so that brought it down to a 3-star. And honestly, the more I talk about it, I mean, honestly, if I was only looking at that, that would be a 2-star for me, but I loved so much of the book that it would have been a 4-star until this moment, which is why I gave it a 3. That's how I got there. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm done talking about it. If you want to talk to me about To All the Boys I Loved Before, in the comments down below, just write spoilers before you do so that people don't need to get spoiled, and then we can talk about it because I have a lot of feelings on it. The other 3-star I gave was to Bruja Born by Zoraida Cordova, which is the sequel to Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova, which I read in July. And I got this on NetGalley as an e-arc, so I reviewed it and everything for this book. So the first book follows Alex, and it's a very solo journey of Alex. Alex and her family are all Brujas, which are a specific type of witch, and there's magic in this world and all kinds of fun stuff. It's very reminiscent of the Mortal Instruments, but witches instead of shadow hunters is how I viewed it, and I really enjoyed the first book. This book, my main issue was that this book follows the sister Lula, and I struggled so much with their points of view. So the whole first book is in Alex's point of view, and I found that they have the same exact voice. So I don't know if that's the writing technique, I don't know exactly what the issue is, but like every time that all of a sudden Alex showed up in the second book, I was like, wait, aren't we getting your perspective? Like, why are you talking in third person to yourself? Oh, you're not, we're in Lula's perspective, and I kept forgetting, and it was very frustrating and very distracting for me. So that was why I didn't like it so much, but I loved the story. I'm excited to read the third book, which is going to be in the third sister's point of view, so hopefully it won't be as the same. But I love the magic system in this story. I love the representation of Latina and everything. And moving on to some 4-star books. The first one I want to talk about is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the Sassy Book Club for August. Our live show is going to be September 8th at 5 p.m. PST or 8 p.m. EST. So if you want to join us to discuss The Raven Boys, you're more than welcome to. It'll be on my channel. I have some amazing people joining me. I will actually be at Chelsea from Chelsea Darling's house during the live show, so she's gonna pop in there and say hi. She has feelings about this. She didn't like it very much, I can tell you that much. But I also have some amazing other people in joining me for this live show, and I'm so excited to discuss this book with them. This book, if you don't know what it is, it follows a girl named Blue whose family are clairvoyant, but she's not, but she makes their clairvoyance stronger. And then we also have the set of Raven Boys who go to this fancy prep school, and this group is looking for the Welsh king who's supposed to be sleeping on the ley line, and if you wake him up, then you get granted a wish. And the city that they're in, the small town that they're in, lands on this ley line. Somehow those worlds clash. So this book, I've read it before. I read it in 2014 and I liked it, and then throughout the years I forgot that I liked it and I thought I didn't like the book, so then I never picked it up, and then I reread it and then looked at my review from 2014 and I realized I liked it just as much this time as I did last time, and I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, it was good. I feel like the arc of this book felt a little bit unfinished. Some of the things that are in this book should have been wrapped up in this book. There was stuff that was wrapped up, but I feel like more should have been in this book rather than continuing on. There should have been like an overarching arc, sure, but it felt a little bit weird, and that's why I gave it a 4 stars, but overall really loved it. And my battery's dying, so I need to change it. One of the secrets to booktubing, if you like to bulk film, is to have 2 batteries, because otherwise one's gonna die. Moving on to another 4-star book. This was my TBR jar pick of the month, and it was These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This book follows a girl named Lilac and a boy named Tarver, and they're on this ship. Lilac is the daughter of this very big man in business. He created a lot of like the spaceships and the science and the stuff that makes them be able to do all the things. And so she's very well kept, and her father is kind of crazy, and we don't really know exactly what that means, but we know that she is scared to talk to boys because something might happen to them if the dad thinks that she's involved with anyone. And then the boy named Tarver was given high praise for something and in the military, but he doesn't really feel like he deserves the praise, and he's also very young for what he has received in the military. And they meet one night on the ship, and then she's kind of standoffish to him, and you're getting both of their perspectives. And then right after they meet, the ship goes down and the only people to survive are them on this strange planet where there's lots of stuff going on, and then it's all about their survival and looking to try to get found so that they can, you know, go back home. This book was like emotional, and there was lots of stuff going on, and there's like some weird, I really loved, they have an alien life force in this story, and I really liked how it was, and I don't really want to tell you how it is because it's really interesting to read it, but like there's some stuff that like makes you question if this is if these are reliable narrators and stuff. You're also in the middle of the whole book getting these snippets of an interview from some sort of like investigation with Tarver, so you know that he made it and you know that he's being questioned about what happened. Really very intriguing, and that's why I'm really excited. If you watched my haul in TBR, one of the books that I got from my TBR jar was actually the sequel to this, and I'm really excited that that happened, and I'm probably going to continue on next month with it. But yeah, so that's one of my 4-star books. One of the next 4-star books that I read was Other People's Houses by Abby Waxman, and this is basically Desperate Housewives in a book form. This book is an adult novel, and it follows a bunch of different neighbors on one, you know, street or cul-de-sac type thing, and it's mainly following this one, all about what's going on in the secrets that you don't see within these different houses. There's drama and stuff, very normal drama, not like murdering or anything like that crazy stuff, but like cheating and, you know, husband and wife fighting and stuff like that, like the everyday dealing of having a family and having kids and having to do drop-off and pick-up and soccer practice and all of this stuff, all while dealing with other mundane drama. It was really intriguing. I really liked it. It was a quick read. I just found myself smiling a lot through it. It was cute. Intense too, but very cute. The last 4-star book that I have here is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. So tiny. If you guys are new to BookTube, you might not know what this is, but you probably have heard of it if you've been here a while. This is a book in this series where it's about these kids who come to this house to be taken care of after they have been to another world, kind of like Chronicles of Narnia or something like that, where they fall through a door like Alice in Wonderland style into this other universe, and then they come back to the human normal Earth world and they don't know how to survive or like to live without their counterpart world, and so they are in this home for children who are dealing with that. And it was cool, but I felt like it was very underdeveloped, and that makes sense considering how short it is, I think. I think if this book was double or even triple in size, it would have been developed, and I think I would have given it a 5 out of 5 stars because the concept was amazing. There's like a murder mystery in it all at the same time, but I felt like that murder mystery got wrapped up really just quickly. It was just very easily tied up, I guess. There was no like concern really or anything. It just was like, oh, here it is, and then we get some things, and then all of a sudden it's done. So I just felt like I needed more from it to get a 5 stars. My first 5-star book that I want to talk about is Brazen, Rebel Ladies Who Rocked the World by Penelope Baju, and this is a graphic novel. It is gorgeous. Freaking gorgeous. So this is a bunch of different short stories told in graphic novel form of a bunch of different women who did amazing things. Some of them are, you know, like scientists, and then there's one who was one of the first trans women who ever went through any sort of hormonal treatment. There's some silly ones, like the first one is one of the bearded ladies who just had a family. And so it's all about just like these bunch of different women who did cool things, and some of them are way more serious and some of them are kind of light and fluffy, and the art is amazing, and I just look at how gorgeous it is. It's beautiful. Next two 5 out of 5 star books are related, and they are A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light by F.E. Schwab. I finished this today. This one, honestly, like, this is amazing. I think that the series got better and better and better, but they were both 5 stars, but like I thought this was great, and then I read this and I was like, oh, what? Where's the 10-star button? I don't know, but this was amazing. So these two books are the second and third in the series A Darker Shade of Magic, which is the first one, and they follow a man named Kel who is the adopted brother of the Prince of Red London, which is a London with magic. And then we have Lila Bard, who is from Grey London, the London without magic. And then we also have Holland, which is a man from White London, which is a London that's magic is disappearing and is starving the world. They all are connected somehow, and there's lots of shit that goes down, and I don't really know how to explain any of it without giving away anything, but all of the books are good. This one has like Hunger Games vibes. The first one has like very different vibes, and then this one has like the entire book is the climax of everything. And the last book that I have to talk about that I read in the month of August was Evelyn Hugo, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did a book talk on this while I did my makeup in Evelyn Hugo themed. So if you're interested in hearing a lot of my thoughts all jumbled up and just like chatting with you basically, you can click right there and I'll give it to you. But this book follows Evelyn Hugo, who is now almost 80 in her age, but when she was young, she was a starlet of Hollywood, you know, very like Marilyn Monroe-esque, except she didn't die young. And she decides to tell this woman named Monique that you get my rights to my book of my story, but if you don't take it, then it won't get written. So you're the only one I want to give it to. And Monique doesn't really understand why she was chosen, because she's not particularly, you know, well-versed or well-known or anything in the journal world. She's a journalist, but not like famous for it or anything. So most of the story is told as if you're just reading about Evelyn's life and her 7 husbands, and then every once in a while you get present time with Monique interviewing her, and it's so good. I don't even know what to say on this one either. It's so good. That's all I got. That's all I have for everything for this video. It was a long video. I hope you're still with me. If you are with me, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I make videos every Wednesday and Saturday, but if you want to be notified every time I make a video, you can always hit that little notification bell down there by the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye! I wish I could